Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you my Granbull deck. Granbull I think is the best option in terms of rogue decks and kind of what's available in the meta right now for one prize attackers that are able to trade consistently with strong tag teams, strong VMAXs. And the big threats in the format right now are going to be Dragapult VMAX, Arceus Dialga, and Pikarom. And so Granbull kind of has pretty good answers to a lot of those. All out, if you have no cards in your hand, it does 130 more damage. So that's 160 damage for one energy, assuming you have no cards in your hand. So a lot of this deck is designed to discard things quickly. We have Quick Ball, which discards a card to get you a Pokemon. It's what's going to get you set up. We have Aurora Energy, which is here just to substitute a basic energy to get that bonus discard out of the way. And we have Oranguru to put back things we need later, and Magcargo to put a card on top of your deck. So at any time, once you have Magcargo and Oranguru, you can pretty much search for anything you need. So if you can get rid of the Tool Scrapper or the Ordinary Rod, like whatever is kind of not necessary for the matchup, you can throw away to get the stuff that is necessary. So against Pikarom, you're going to want to be finding Mew to protect yourself from Tag Bolt GX. Against Dragapult, you're going to be finding Sky Pillar to protect yourself from the attack that puts damage on the bench. And against Arceus Dialga, you don't really even need to search for anything. You can just smack it with Granbull and one-shot it with All Out. That's 320 damage because it is weak to Fairy. So with this deck, sequencing is very important. I think not only is this deck a really good budget deck, I think the only like really expensive card in it is Wondrous Labyrinth, and that is only worth one pack really. Like you can get this pretty cheaply. You can get pretty much everything else is fairly easy to get. Diantha is also might be a bit pricey, one pack. Rosa too, you need two of them for this deck, and I've seen Rosa go for like 1 or 2 packs. People in chat have been saying that it's 3, 4, 5 packs, but it depends on how you find them. Rosa's probably the hardest card to get in this entire deck, but most of the stuff here is pretty cheap. As you can see, there's no EXs or GXs. I wouldn't play Dedenne in this. I wouldn't play Oricorio GX in this. The reason being is because you just want to be able to consistently get those one prize attackers. Even when your opponent is gusting stuff up with boss's orders, they can try and take out Magcargo, but we're playing 3 of them, so you're able to build them pretty quickly. A lot of what you're trying to do here is just efficiently trade with the Granbull and get the cards out of your hand. So this is the build I am playing right now. And yeah, after this, I will show you a couple of games of me playing it, and hopefully you get to see how the deck works. So enjoy. Okay, so now we're playing Granbull. Granbull, as I was saying earlier, is the best rogue deck right now, I think, in my opinion, just because it's good against Pika, it's good against Dragapult, it's good against ADP. So we're going to start the Snubbull and Ditto on the bench, and we wait. And what are we going to do here? We're going to discard this, and we're going to find our friend here. And we're going to do a little flip. Oh, perfect. Okay. So we're going to find the energy next turn. And then, I guess, flip. Yeah, we need to find energy. Is the Ditto necessary? No, it's not. It's just an extra bonus thing. You can definitely build this deck without Ditto, no problem. socks are wet and my toes are So we're playing against Zacian V. They played a Dedenne, so we'll probably take 2 prizes knocking that out. We'll have to knock out the Zacian. Seems like they probably don't play ADP. So we'll take an early prize attacking Jirachi, I think. Unless we can do something wild. We will do that. Yeah, we'll just take Grant. I'll take the Slugma. I'd rather have Slugma here. So then we play Evo Incense. And we're gonna get Magcargo. Alright, and then we're gonna top deck Fairy Energy, because that's what we need to attack. Alright, then we're gonna play this, and then we're gonna use Custom Catcher to draw the Fairy Energy. We're gonna do that. Then we're gonna Evo Incense for Granbull, evolve, play Slugma, and then attack for 160. Yeah, Alan Flames, it doesn't do good to be angry at yourself. You gotta forgive yourself. You did the studying you needed to do for earlier, so now you're ahead in studying, you know? You are at an advantage. You have all this, now you have plenty of time to play Pokemon. And, yeah. Bye-bye. I hope you have good sleep now. Okay. So we're trying to hit big numbers with Granbull. That's funny. Oh, perfect. Okay, so we just drew into custom. So what if we just custom up Dedenne and smack it? That seems good. Bye-bye, Alan. Good night. Wow, their head must be rough. Alan, you're still here? Oh my goodness. Alright, so we get hit for weakness. We'll find that. Then we're gonna Magcargo and find Rosa or Diantha? Rosa. We'll flip that. Alright, so double switch, we get everything out of our hand, we do 160. We're pretty consistent right here. This is pretty good. Hi Rosie, TCGO, what's up? Welcome to the stream, I hope you're doing good. How are you? Alright, and they scoop. Alright, so for the rest of this video, I was playing music that I can't put on YouTube because of copyright, so I'm just going to play these next two games. Oh, I'm fixing my webcam there, it's frozen. I'm going to just commentate over these next two games as they go at 2x speed. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens here. So I open with a Slugma, and then I use Quick Ball to find the Granbull. You can see in my hand, next turn I have the Magcargo and the other Granbull, like right away and accessible. My opponent here is playing Dragapult, so I kind of have to be careful of my bench. Essentially, in this matchup, Granbull can two-shot the Dragapult VMAX, so I want to take multiple prizes and then maintain the prize trade in my favor, not get too much damage from the Dragapult's attacks so that I can end up winning. And this is, because of this deck, is the reason I play Sky Pillar, to kind of prevent that damage, although, well, we'll see how this game pans out. So I am searching for the Oranguru and the Magcargo so that I can build a Granbull. And with this deck, you kind of have to be smart about how you get everything out of your hand really quickly. So here I wasn't able to make the Granbull, so I'm just going to pass and then next turn hopefully build the Granbull. I think there might have actually been a way that I could have made a Granbull, but you can probably see it in my face, my frustration. Dragapult is probably the most difficult matchup for Granbull, and it's not an impossible matchup. I think it's kind of 50-50. It's not as advantageous as like playing against ADP is, because against ADP you are hitting for weakness, but you love to see Dedennes on the bench because Dedennes are really easy to gust up and knock out. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do with the Great Catcher here. So Granbull gets knocked out, but that stadium comes into play and protects us. So here I'm going to attach the energy, and then I need to think carefully about how I'm going to empty all the cards out of my hand and attack. So of course I look for the Granbull, because that's going to be my attacker, and then I use the Great Catcher to bring up the Dedenne and take two prizes right away. So we're ahead in the prize race by 1 at this point, but they still have that Dragapult VMAX there. And I patiently wait to see what they knock out, if they're able to get rid of the stadium, and because they aren't, our bench is safe. That Magcargo and Guru engine that gets us everything we need is right there. I did not have an extra Snubbull on the bench, so building a second attacker was difficult. To improve the Dragapult matchup, a Hoopa could be useful as a attacker because it's dark type, so it'll hit Dragapult for weakness. And it's also a basic, so you don't have to evolve it right away. But here I just kind of make two Snubbulls and send up an Oranguru to be sacrificed. They're going to get a head 1 prize in KOing this Oranguru, but as long as they don't find a stadium, we should be able to still maintain that advantage since we're going to get a lot of prizes from knocking out this Dragapult VMAX. So we use Smooth Over, and we're going to find a supporter. The hardest choice, I think, sometimes is choosing between when you need Rosa and when you need Diantha. Here I got Rosa because I think I just wanted the extra card. And there you can see me drawing through the deck again, setting up the Slugma. And then I'm finding the pieces I need in order to attack. Air Balloon goes onto the Guru so that it's a useful pivot. I have the second attacker for next turn once it gets knocked out, and I've done half the damage to the active Dragapult VMAX. The biggest thing I'm fearing here is a Mallow and Lana, or Super Scoop Up if that's something that my opponent's running. But spoiler alert, it's not. They just attack. And so we're going to respond with our own big attack with the Granbull. So all I have to do is empty my hand here, find an energy, which is fairly easy. Quick Ball lets me discard. Switch, I can switch into the Guru and then pivot back. Diantha lets me get an energy plus whatever I need for next turn. So I top deck the Aurora Energy and then use Diantha. This is a tough decision here for what's most optimal, but I do think Guru is correct. It's Guru and then something I can throw out. I wanted to leave the other basic energy in my deck so that Rosa was still live. I can now smooth over to guarantee my next top deck, which is Boss's Orders, so that I can Boss's Orders up a Jirachi and KO that. I take 3 prizes, so right here, it's pretty easy to see that unless my opponent can get rid of that stadium, well, even if they could get rid of the stadium, they aren't going to be able to win this turn. So this game should be in the bag, and it all comes down to how perfectly I can execute this final turn. So they find Jirachi, they find Research. I don't think this deck played a stadium. I know Dragapult decks, some of them are playing Shrine of Punishment. Oh, there's the Shrine of Punishment. Yep, it gets rid of my stadium. They are able to spread the 5 damage. But 5 damage is not enough to KO me. They've set up KOs for next turn. So this is it. This is the turn of truth. I have Boss's Orders in my hand. So ideally, I should find Granbull, right? And all I need to find here is an energy. And what I should have done is found an energy and then used the Boss's Orders and then attached the energy and then retreated. And then I could have simply attacked for game, KOing a Jirachi or one of those Zigzagoons if I had used the Boss's Orders in my hand. But instead, I thought I was being clever and looked for a second custom catcher, but I did not have a custom catcher left in the deck. So if I had used the option that was available to me and staring me in the face, which was Boss's Orders, and there you can see I'm visibly angry. I'm upset. I just lost the game to improper play. That was a suboptimal move, and you can see the frustration right there on my face. So I have one more game to show you. And here in these games, what you can see is just how important sequencing is. It's very possible in Granbull a lot of the time to pull off optimal turn after optimal turn. If you play every turn perfectly, you should be able to just outpace almost every deck because you're just taking consistent 1 prize knockouts. And there's not a lot that can kind of keep Granbull at bay. It takes a big Tag Bolt GX or a lot of spread from a Dragapult to take multiple prizes in a turn. And taking multiple prizes is probably the only way that you can keep up with the race of Granbull. The challenge then becomes how well can you play the Granbull and make sure you have the right things on the right turn. And not draw yourself into a dead hand because you threw away Boss's Orders thinking you would get a custom catcher. So here I create the Magcargo, and I'm searching for what I need for next turn. They're playing Mewtwo, so I want to kind of lock them out of their early game options. I've seen they've attached 2 fire energies to the Mewtwo on the bench, so I know that this is like a welder Mewtwo deck. Now what I want to do is attack 4 times with Granbull. That's 2 attacks. There, I'm holding up 4 fingers. I'm attacking 4 times. I'm going to do 2 160 damage attacks onto the Mewtwo to take 3 prizes, and 2 160 damage attacks onto the Reshizard to take 2 prizes. That's my game plan. And I'm going to try and stick to that game plan because assuming that I execute it perfectly, I should be able to take all the prizes before my opponent is able to take theirs, because it will take them 6 turns to win, and it'll only take me 4. Excuse me. So here I've drawn into the labyrinth that I set up for myself. What I really need is a switch. Instead I go for a Marnie because I really need a Granbull and a switch, so I swap that Rosa. I draw into 2 Rosas, which is actually really difficult there. Having the 2 supporters in your hand can really slow you down. This deck only plays 9 supporters, and 9 out of 60 cards is not a lot, but I don't know. If you want to make space in the deck for something, maybe cutting out a Marnie could be the way to go, because having multiple supporters in your hand is always difficult, and you're going to have to get rid of one at some point. So we stall for a turn. Our opponent takes a KO. We lose our Magcargo that's on the bench. And they spend a minute trying to decide what it is they're going to do. So they search for a bunch of cards. We are able to undo that with Reset Stamp, and then using Rosa we can get Granbull, we can get the Fairy Energy, and then we can get a switch or an Evo Incense to evolve that second Granbull. So even without Magcargo, we still have 2 attackers on board. We're behind only 1 prize, and so even though we stuttered for a turn, we are still quote-unquote on schedule. And we're able to just do 120 right onto the Mewtwo. I'm waiting patiently as they use Welder, start loading up that Reshizard on the bench. That's going to be their second attacker, our second threat. And then here comes a Cramorant that they find. The Cramorant isn't a threat to us because we aren't playing Dedenne. We aren't playing anything that gives up more than 1 prize. So there we have our second Granbull. We're going to draw 3 cards. We can start setting up for our second Snubbull. We knock their stadium out of place, and then we hit for 160 and take our 3 prizes from the Mewtwo. So you can see kind of what's most important in this deck is not only getting an active Granbull with an energy that you can attack with, but having a second Snubbull on the bench that is going to be ready to be your attacker next turn. So each turn you're kind of expecting your Granbull to get knocked out, and then you're going to return a knockout with your benched Snubbull. So here they're loading up Cramorant. I think this is their attempt at trying to control the prizes. Even though they spit shot, they didn't really notice that we had Mew on the bench, so it didn't really help them at all. So that was a huge whiff on their end. And I don't even know if I completely noticed it because I was focusing on the webcam that glitched out for a second there. But we stall. We have to all out for 30 into this Cramorant. We have to be patient if we want to take these prizes. They whiff a turn unintentionally, and we whiff a turn because that Snubbull stuck in our hand. It might have even actually been better for us had that Cramorant been successful. So we're able to make that Magcargo. That Magcargo finds us Rosa, and that Rosa is able to build another Granbull. So we get the Granbull, we get the Fairy Energy, and the item card that's going to help us the most. Air Balloon I'm considering because it's burnable. I do kind of want Great Catcher here, but I don't have anything to discard. And I end up going for the Ordinary Rod because putting cards back is important, especially if we want to get all of the attacks that we planned off correctly. So there's our third Granbull attack, right onto the Reshizard. That Ditto on the bench is hopefully going to become a Granbull next turn, and we can knock out the Reshizard. They gust up the Ditto, and we are able to just hit the Reshizard for game. So that's Granbull. I hope you enjoyed this video. If this is your first time here at the channel, you could hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this. You can like, comment, do all that stuff that helps out the algorithm. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah.
I can take